WTMJ is here. Starting at 5 a.m., the Midwest Farm Report with Pam Yonke. From 6 to 9 is Wisconsin's Morning News with Vince Petrano and Eric Bilstad. Starting at 9, the Political Power Hour with Steve Scaffidi. At 10, catch the Upswing with Jeff Sherman. From 11 to 1, Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Metzik and Jessica Ty. From 1 to 3, catch Spanning the State with Kristen Bry. At 3, Wisconsin's Afternoon News with John McCure and Julia Fellow. At 6, What's on Tap with Sandy Max. And at 7, WTMJ at Night with Brian Noonan. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic and weather, on air, online, and on demand. Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. I love talking about Heiser driving a 2023, brand new Ford Explorer XLT four-wheel drive, perfect for our weather, although this winter has been a nice break. It's got a really cool Atlas blue metallic color. People always ask me about it. Great technology, great gas mileage, 23 combined city and highway, awesome for an SUV. Rear view camera, 360-degree camera with split view display. This thing's amazing on technology. All the great programs, safe and sound, right? All new and pre-owned vehicles. Vehicle exchange. If you don't love it, exchange it. Absolutely. Roadside assistance for life. Never left stranded. Great inventory on lots. You can check them out at Heiser.com as well. Specialists to handle your service needs. You can order a vehicle today built exactly the way you want it. That's important. You want the vehicle to be ready for you to drive, your family to drive. Heiser's there every step of the way. Service, purchase, awesome customer service. That's why they say every day at Heiser, today's your day.
Here at Richlands, we offer both comfort service and expert service.
Our comfort service comes with movie theater popcorn, hot gourmet coffee, upfront pricing, on-time scheduling, plus anything else we can do to keep you comfortable.
Put that on top of honest service from the most friendliest, hard-working people you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center. And well, we'd like to believe we're on the right track to meeting your expectations.
But when your check engine light, tire light, or any other light screams, "Service me," well, that means you're due for our other type of service.
Our expert service. Tires, brakes, belts, mufflers, transmissions, and even engine repair.
Come on into Richlands and put our expert service to the test.
And while you're relaxing, enjoy our comfort services too. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
The largest industrial trade show in Wisconsin is the PFMA Plant Engineering and Maintenance Expo. Industrial professionals in charge of facility management and maintenance, purchasing, or manufacturing will save time learning about important advances all under one roof.
Skip the show day lines and go to pfmainc.com for fast and free pre-registration. The PFMA Expo, free with free parking, February 21st and 22nd at a new location, Washington County Fair Park in West Bend.
My great first guest, Charles Benson from TMJ4 News, outstanding political reporter. I'm going to end it with this, Charles, because we got news coming up and then another guest. When you and I were doing the podcast about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I mentioned, is this the craziest, most absurd? And you had a really interesting answer to that question. So give me the answer sort of restated.
I guess I'll have to try to remember it. My take is that because if you look through history, we have had some interesting moments that, we've gotten through. I don't like to predict, that this is the craziest or all of that. What I do want to make sure is that we try as best we can to give clarity and context to these fast-moving events and try to sort through all of this to give people an understanding about why this was said and what's the historical context around it and what is the relevance to it to help them understand why this is going on. If we're going to talk about age, what is it that we need to talk about age besides the talking points on age? When we're going to talk about policy issues, and policies issues should be a dominant part of this, about the economy, about the border, about healthcare. I think we're going to be there to try to help explain these in a very politically charged atmosphere when everything's going to come at you at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, and one of the points you made in the podcast is look at history. There's been some pretty crazy elections we've had in the past.
So it all is within context.
Charles Benson, always great to see you. We'll have you back at some point in the future. It is an amazing race to steal a TV show title. It's going to be fun to watch this year, so thanks to Charles Benson for joining us. Coming up in the next half hour, Matt Smith from Channel 12 in Milwaukee. He's actually in Madison as the governor signs the new maps. We have new maps, people. And it's sort of an interesting day from this perspective for me. So much turmoil, so much conversation, so much discussion about the fact that was this going to go to the courts? What were they going to decide? What map would they choose? And at the end of the day, and Charles and I mentioned this when we were talking, at the end of the day, we get a map approved by the legislature, signed by the governor. And I would argue that that's sort of how it's supposed to work. Now, there's an interesting sort of side conversation that's developing right now, and that's what will happen next. They're going to go to the Supreme Court. The governor said this today in his remarks. We're going to get some clarification. Special elections, does that apply? Supreme Court will probably weigh in on that, Wisconsin Supreme Court. So that's sort of the latest on what's happening. We'll continue to monitor that story. But we'll talk about elections and certainly reporting with our next guest who's coming up in a few minutes. And this is an interesting week because it's the first week of the Political Power Hour. We look at all angles, right? We have legal experts, we have journalists who cover politics, and a whole lot more. So looking forward to it. And of course, Bill and Joe on Friday, who always do a great job on the Political Power Hour. They're not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, I might mix them into the weekly shows beyond just Friday. All right, you're listening to WTMJ. Our news time is 9:30. ABC News is next on WTMJ.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. International reaction coming into the sudden death of Alexei Navalny last week. Western leaders blaming Russian President Vladimir Putin for it. ABC News Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz reports from Ukraine.
U.S. Ambassador to Russia Lynn Tracy seen laying flowers at the Solovetsky Stone in Moscow, writing on X, "We express our deepest condolences to the family, colleagues, and supporters of Alexei Navalny. His strength is an inspiring example. We honor his memory." His wife, Yulia, remembering her husband on social media, writing simply, "I love you."
Rain, wind, and snow slamming much of California. Los Angeles hit with heavy downpours today. Tomorrow, the Bay Area will get it, courtesy of another West Coast atmospheric river. 2 Minnesota police officers and a paramedic shot and killed as they responded to a domestic call over the weekend that happened just south of Minneapolis. This is ABC News.
The WTMJ News Time 9:31. Breaking news this hour.
This is an important day and historic day for our state and for every person who calls Wisconsin home.
Governor Tony Evers has signed a redistricting proposal. The proposal passed through the Assembly and Senate earlier this month. Evers saying today the new maps will go into effect immediately.
These maps will take effect immediately after publication and will be in place for the fall elections, providing certainty for candidates and campaigns. I will also be asking the Wisconsin Supreme Court to clarify that these maps will be in place for any special elections that occur between now and the fall.
Earlier this month, Evers promised to sign his maps into law if the legislature passed them with no changes. A 3-year-old is dead after what police say was an accidental shooting. Circumstances surrounding it aren't clear, but 2 guns reportedly recovered at the scene on the city's northwest side Sunday morning. Mount Pleasant police say they busted a massive theft ring, called to an Ulta store, arrested 2 suspected shoplifters, and seized tens of thousands of dollars of stolen merchandise. 2 Cuban men in their 30s linked to a nationwide shoplifting ring. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The markets are closed today. Today's President's Day. They will resume trading tomorrow. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite, financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. No delays to report right now. Pretty smooth sailing. 4145 southbound from Highway Q to the Zoo, a 14-minute drive. 43 south from Brown Deer Road to the Marquette Interchange, 13, and 94 north from Layton to the Marquette Interchange, running about 9 minutes this morning. And here's your Storm Team 4 5-day forecast. Some high clouds, filtered sunshine today with a high 43. Overnight low tonight, 28 after partly cloudy and with partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy and mild tomorrow, 47 for the high. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, high 52. 50 on Thursday with an isolated shower early. And Friday, partly cloudy, cooler with a high of 39. Madison 28, Green Bay 27, Milwaukee 33 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:33.
Vince Vitrano for Great Lakes Landscape. I take pride in my yard, and this spring, I plan to spend more time enjoying it with help from Great Lakes Landscape. The off-season is when you look ahead to a landscape maintenance package for 2024. Take feeding your lawn. You could spend just as much buying bags of fertilizer and applying it yourself. Why not get Southeast Wisconsin's premier installation and maintenance company to do it for you? They'll custom build a plan to beautify and maintain your yard, from mulch to shrubs to a lawn that's the envy of the neighborhood. It's Great Lakes Landscape, WI.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Universal Windows Direct. If you've been cold in your own home, do not suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty house. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Super spacer technology. What does that mean? Helps keep the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window seal longer, and makes the windows last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. That's pretty cool. Actually, the opposite of cool because it keeps your house warm. So your windows from Universal perform better and last longer. For the last windows you will ever need, go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
The pain was so bad I could barely walk. And now after stem cell treatment, I run marathons.
Now this is an exaggeration, but I do hear about unbelievable miracle outcomes. And I have to ask, do you really believe them? If they were true, these biological treatments wouldn't even have to be advertised. Truth is, stem cell effectiveness is nowhere near 100%. It's expensive, and it doesn't last. At Rejuvenex, our FDA-approved pharmacological treatments ease inflammation and reduce pain. They're precisely administered to where your pain lives, and they work. Will the pain reduction last forever? No. But in some cases, relief has lasted as long as 24 months, and in most cases, insurance has paid for the treatments entirely. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, where we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Welcome back to Political Power Hour. I am Steve Scaffidi, of course. If you're wondering, why is he doing the Friday show on Monday? Well, we do it all week now. 9 to 10, Political Power Hour. Great guests looking at the year that was 2024. I should say the year that is 2024. All the excitement of the election from a lot of different angles. Journalists, public safety professionals, legal scholars, and of course, Bill and Joe on Friday. What a way to wrap up the Political Power Hour every week. All right. The guest extravaganza continues. My friend Matt Smith, Channel 12 Political Director, joining us on the Tri-County Contracting Hotline. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Steve. Hey, I have to first apologize. I was going to be in studio with you for this
No
debut
problem.
show.
Who knew?
It's a busy Monday already.
Yeah, who knew the governor was going to sign the new map? So you were there. Tell us what it looked and sounded like.
Just moments ago, the governor in his conference room signing his legislative maps into law, of course, after Republicans approved them last week in an attempt to get ahead of the state Supreme Court decision. So the governor was there, a bunch of fair map advocates were there, and just a handful of Democratic lawmakers alongside the governor as he signed this in the governor's office this morning.
And if you don't know Matt Smith, the incredible host of Up Front on Channel 12, sort of the week in politics from a Wisconsin perspective, and he always has great guests, and we'll talk about a little bit of that during the half hour. So the governor made an interesting point during his speech. I caught a bit of it during a break, that he will ask the Wisconsin Supreme Court for a little clarification, and that has to do with special elections, Matt.
Yeah, so this was the only point of contention between what Republicans did and what the governor had proposed. So there was that one sentence in the legislation that said this will be implemented in November as opposed to immediately. A lot of Democrats had some concerns with that, A, for any special elections, and B, for any potential recall efforts targeting Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. So the governor said, listen, I'm signing my maps into law, but I am going to immediately ask the state Supreme Court to clarify this hoping that the implementation will be immediately. So like for Lena Taylor's seat in Milwaukee, they can call a special election right away, as opposed to having to wait until August, September, October, November with the primary and the November implementation date. So the governor said that he is going to take that to the court. We'll see kind of how this all plays out over the next couple of weeks and months.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that clarification does have to be done by the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Tony Evers, governor, can't decide that. The legislature can't decide that, I think.
Yeah, correct. And the governor was asked, well, listen, are you going to call this a special election for Lena Taylor's seats before the court, gives some opinion on this? And he honestly said, I don't know at this point. So around the implementation and how this all works out, there's a lot of fluidness just in terms of that somewhat minor detail that could impact a number of races as we look between now and November.
Matt Smith joining us from Channel 12 in Milwaukee, host of Up Front. So I know you've talked to guests throughout the last year plus on the subject of redistricting. You did a little bit of that yesterday with, I think, Devin Lemahue was on.
Yep. Yeah. So we had him on yesterday, and the concern from Democrats is that Republicans were immediately going to file a lawsuit to keep this in the courts and challenge Evers' maps once he signs this into law. So I asked the Senate Majority Leader about that, essentially saying, listen, is this the end if the governor signs this as he did this morning?
We will bring some of that after the break. We'll play a little bit of what Devin Lemahue said. I want to take a break here, Matt, but I want to ask you after the break. I asked Charles Benson this question from TMJ4 before the bottom of the hour news. This year in politics, as somebody who spends his time talking to the newsmakers and the lawmakers, what you expect from 2024, our guest is Matt Smith, political director, Channel 12 News in Milwaukee, and host of the Upfront Show, one of the best places to be informed on politics that you'll find on TV. We'll take a quick break here. Listen, of course, to the Political Power Hour on WTMJ.
Hi there, Governor Evers here with some big news. The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection is now accepting applications for the Wisconsin Resilient Food Systems Infrastructure Program. DETCAP will award $27 million in grant funding for innovative projects designed to build resilience across the middle of the supply chain. The deadline to apply is March 6th. Find more information at datcp.wi.gov.
Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve's Committee for Adair Floors and Remodeling. I love talking about Adair. I was a customer before I was a spokesperson. They're located on South 27th Street in Franklin. Easy to find, right on that border between Oak Creek and Franklin, south of Rawson Avenue, north of Highway 100. They've been in business, get this, 65 years. They put my kitchen floor in 20 plus years ago. Still looks fantastic. They have a design team. We work with that design team to recreate our basement landing area as you enter our sort of basement suite. We have a bedroom down there, bathroom, and sort of a great room. They did all of that for us. They found us a sort of a wood plank look that looks amazing. You can check it out on my social media. For any home or business application, Adair Floors and Remodeling, family owned and operated right there in Franklin. If you stop in, tell them Steve Scaffidi sent you, or visit them online. I'll give it to you twice. AdairFloors.com. One more time. ADAIR Floors.com.
Artwork, especially original artwork, can be pricey. But when you take it in on consignment from nice people like you who are just ready to change the look of their home, you can price it right. And you'll find a lot of it at Design Exchange. Beautiful frame pieces by a number of notable artists. And new ones pop in all the time. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. In Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
In Heartland, you're going to find a focus on distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original artwork, along with tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. In Pewaukee, the focus is on kitchen, outdoor, and garden decor, and all of it is priced at 25 to 40% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value.
Design Exchange.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
I know, it's hard to believe that someone who charges almost 40% less than another can actually do the same job just as well, and maybe even better. But when it comes to our agents, when you give us a chance, you'll see we're pretty good. We know the market and our expertise is second to none. We just charge less. Why pay 6% when a Benefit Realty agent can help you sell your home just as effectively for 3.9%? This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com. Well, when we're letting you know that we're here, we're good, and we work for far less than most real estate agents, while still doing a great job for home buyers and sellers all across southeastern Wisconsin. You can believe what we say, or you can base the truth on what others say, like when you read our multitude of 5-star Google reviews, or when we can talk to you about our growth. The numbers don't lie, and they prove that more and more people are finding out the real value that Benefit Realty delivers. Why pay more when you can pay far less for full service? Benefit-realty.com.
Let's start with the maps. Have you talked with the governor since the bills were passed?
I have not.
Any idea what he's going to do?
We'll see. He promised he was going to sign them if we sent him his exact maps, and that's what we did. So I guess his word and promise are on the line.
A little bit of the Upfront program yesterday. My guest, Matt Smith, political director of Channel 12. Well, you had the perfect guest on from the state Senate, Matt, and then he basically said he hoped he signed it. Well, he did that this morning. So a big win, I think, for voters and citizens of the state. Now we know what the maps look like.
Well, listen, all the drama surrounding the maps, at least at this moment, is over, right? We had this looming decision from the state Supreme Court, and the governor's signature today essentially ends that, with the Republican-controlled legislature passing the maps last week.
Matt Smith joining us on the Political Power Hour. All right, so I made this ask before the break to kind of consider 2024. I asked Charles Benson this question earlier. As people call it the election of our lifetime, that's a commonly thrown out phrase and a very important election, certainly. This will be a very unique election to cover. Why do I say that? We have a president who's facing multiple indictments. We have the age question, both candidates, but certainly pointing a finger at the current president. As a political director, a great reporter on politics, what's your expectation of what this year is going to feel like?
Well, it's going to be super fascinating. And Steve, as you know, we're going to be front and center, right, here in Wisconsin, no matter what it looks like. And it appears to be a Trump-Biden rematch at the presidential level. And every penny that they have possible is going to be spent on this state, not to mention the U.S. Senate race, with Hovde expected to get in the race officially later this week. And then literally just look at what happened this morning. The governor signing the maps. You're going to have some competitive races that were not competitive for several years, and you have 21 instances where lawmakers are now paired in the same district. So there's going to have to be some soul searching. Do I move to get in a new district? Do I not run for re-election? There's going to be a lot of options in some of these high-profile districts that now have placed incumbent lawmakers into the same new district.
You know, looking at this question, it's been a while since we had lawmakers in that position, right? We've had maps established by Republican-led legislatures for a while. Previously, before that, it was Democrats. This question of moving to run, or if you have, in the case, I haven't looked at that closely yet at the new maps, but you may have two lawmakers who are currently both senators or members of the assembly who are both in the same geographic location. That's going to be part of the interesting dynamics, and it all has to happen pretty quickly.
Yeah, and listen, just because of the makeup of the legislature now, there's a lot of Republican pairings, right? Like take our region, for example, Dan Knodel from Germantown, Dewey Strobel from Stockville now are going to be in the same new district. When you look at the assembly, there's a couple pairings where Democrats are looking for pickups now in what will be the new district. Robin Vining from Tosa, Tom McCulsey from Elm Grove. That's a district that was politics, says our partner over at Upfront, that's now going to lean 60% Democrat. So there's these districts and pairings that are going to change, and the representation is going to change. Another one in Milwaukee, Dan Reamer and Bob Donovan are going to be in the same district. That one's almost 60% Democrat. Donovan, though, has said he will move. So the impact, Steve, we're not going to really know for a couple of weeks, but as you said, this is going to have to happen really quickly.
Matt Smith joining us on the Political Power Hour. Last thing for you, Matt. So we've talked about the redistricting map. We've certainly talked about the race ahead. As somebody who hosts a political show up front, great show. We were joking.
Thank you.
And we joke. You recorded a podcast with me, along with your managing editor, Renee Raffelli, the other day. This is one of those years that I think those of us who cover politics get excited about. It's just so many different things coming at us. What, beyond redistricting in the state of Wisconsin, beyond the age question in the national race, Biden and Trump, what other factors are you looking at from your reporting?
I think the enthusiasm level. How enthusiastic are Wisconsin voters on both sides? How are Republicans thinking of Trump as the months go on? How are Democrats thinking of Biden? And is that going to get them to the polls? Especially when you look at key cities like Milwaukee. Everyone keeps saying, I don't want a Biden-Trump rematch, I don't want a Biden-Trump rematch, but it looks like that's what is going to happen. So what does that actually mean when we have the rallies and the commercials and we're so inundated? Is everyone just going to turn everything off and stay home? Or are we magically going to become engaged? I don't know. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how voters respond to all of this.
Yeah, 9 months from now.
Quickly.
Yeah, 9 months.
Yeah.
We'll have to get to that decision-making point at some point. For folks who want to find up front, it's a statewide broadcast, so if they want to find up front, how do they find it?
They find it on their local ABC station, 9 o'clock a.m. here in Milwaukee, 9:30 in Madison on WKOW, 10 o'clock in Green Bay on WBAY, and then, of course, online, all of our posts and interviews, full interviews are always posted online, WISN.com/upfront, and of course my Twitter. I obsessively tweet as you do, Steve.
No, we were complimenting each other on our tweeting the other day. Matt Smith, one of the best at what he does up front, and of course the political director at local Channel 12. Matt, we'll talk again in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Happy Monday, Steve.
Happy Monday to you as well. President's Day. We forgot to mention that. Yeah, my favorite president, in case you're curious, George Washington. I've been to his home, Mount Vernon, many times, and I've said this before. I know I got to get the break here, but if you're taking a trip to Washington, D.C., take the time to travel south of the nation's capital to go tour Mount Vernon. It is spectacular, and it's as is. It looks as it did in George Washington's day. You will not believe how cool that is. All right, we'll take a break here. I think we're going to talk to the newest host of the Upswing. Jeff Sherman will join us. Otherwise, it'll be me talking about politics after this.
Hey, it's Jeff Sherman. Businesses and communities are always booming in Wisconsin, and that's why I'm here to tell you about one of WTMJ's newest shows, The Upswing. Join me every morning, Monday through Friday, from 10 to 11, as I showcase local businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders that are always keeping the great state of Wisconsin on the upswing. It's The Upswing, weekdays from 10 to 11, and it's right here on WTMJ.
Hey, this is Steve Scaffidi for the Bath Authority. If you have a bath or shower that's old, outdated, maybe has mold or mildew or broken tiles, that's a common thing, you got to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products, along with I always say, best-in-class, world-class customer experience. Their modern, durable tubs and showers are designed with an exclusive high-tech polymer liner. What that means? Low maintenance, resistant to mold or mildew, easy to clean, and lasts for decades. That's important. And oh, by the way, it comes with a lifetime warranty. I'll say it twice. TheBathAuthority.com. One more time. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Imagine, if you will, a wonderland of vehicles. An entire convention center filled with the things you love to drive. It's the Milwaukee Auto Show at the Baird Center downtown, February 24th through March 3rd. Immerse yourself in the latest new cars, new trucks, SUVs, luxury vehicles, classics, and this year, we even have an indoor electric vehicle ride course. It's a wonderland of vehicles. Everything all in one place, all in a non-selling environment. It's a great place to comparison shop. The Milwaukee Auto Show. Save big on tickets. Go to autoshowmilwaukee.com.
Steinhoffel's 4-day President's Sale is on now. Get $100 off when you spend over $19.99 and up to a $300 airline gift card with a qualifying purchase. And with their 36-month financing, your new room just got more affordable. Shop in-store and online at steinhoffels.com.
A new year means new goals for Wisconsin hoops teams. The red and white will make a run to the tournament, and Milwaukee is eyeing up a playoff run in the spring. As Wisconsin's 3PL Evans Transportation knows, it takes a team effort to make those runs, and when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, Evans is the supply chain team for you. Good luck to all Wisconsin hoops teams from Wisconsin's 3PL. Find them at evanstrans.com.
We've told you about Moses Hadara,
the diamond cutter who created the Kessler 81.
The magical diamond that vibrates with light.
Kessler's works with crazy diamond cutters.
Geniuses who create wonderful, spectacular,
crazy diamond shapes.
The one thing these crazy genius diamonds all have in common
is that they explode with light.
The Kessler Emerald Cut diamond sends out rippling waves of light, like water lapping onto a beach.
The Kessler Square Radiant Diamond glows like the sun on the horizon.
Sometimes sunrise.
Sometimes sunset.
Come to Kessler's.
Come to Kessler's.
Come to Kessler's.
Ask to see the rippling waves of light, like water on the beach.
Ask to see the glow that looks like sunrise and sunset.
Ask to see the Kessler Crazy Genius Diamonds.
See them for yourself.
See them for yourself.
See them for yourself.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Thanks for tuning in to the first Political Power Hour, the Monday version. Of course, we've been doing the Friday edition with Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen for, almost 2 years now. A couple quick show notes. Tomorrow I'll be joined by incredible writers, both sides of the political aisle. Christian Snyder, who writes for National Review online and is also the author of 2 books, joins me at 9:08. And then, of course, Dan Schaefer from the left, the liberal side of things, who puts together a great rendition of the week in politics. Dan Schaefer for the recombobulation area. That'll be 9:30-ish tomorrow. Somebody asked about questions. If you have a question for one of my guests, you can certainly text me. I don't know that I'll be taking calls, but 855-616-1620 WTMJ Talk and Text line still works. And you can text a question. I will try to get it in. Actually, somebody got one in for Matt that I kind of borrowed. Somebody asked me about Mount Vernon. You can actually take a subway from D.C. to Mount Vernon. And if you're going out east, I'm mentioning because it's President's Day today, and my favorite president is George Washington. You cannot miss it. I have a lot of friends who work at Mount Vernon. I've been there many times. It is a great visit. All right, our new lineup continues. Next up, Jeff Sherman, host of The Upswing, who's joining us quickly in studio. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Steve. Happy President's Day.
Who's your favorite president?
I've had an opportunity to meet George W. Bush and George Sr. They're both really wonderful, full-hearted people. So I like both of them a lot.
Good
but
choices.
John Adams is
Have you ever seen the
too.
HBO show? I love that.
I love that show
Tremendous.
a whole lot. It really kind of provides a good flavor of what and how we got here.
How nutty politics, even back then, were. So what are you going to be talking about today? We got about 30 seconds.
So conversations at the intersection of life, business, and community. That's what The Upswing is. Today we have an entrepreneur, started with a product, an idea, scaled it up, sold it to a well-known Wisconsin company, and it now has his product all over the state in grocery stores.
A couple weeks ago, in the extended version of my old show, I told the story of the women that brought back the Stanley Quencher. Do you know the story?
I do very well, yes.
They decided they liked this product. They started selling it online. They actually got Stanley to bring it back. And because of that decision by Stanley, their profits went through the roof, and now it's the hottest selling big, 40-ounce mug on the market.
We have a 12-year-old in the Sherman household. And so, yes, we have invested in...
What would that 12-year-old fill that thing with, by the way? What's that? That's the question. Hopefully water.
Yeah, mainly water, some sparkly water, too.
Yes. I was hoping you were going to say, grape knee-high. For all the old people in the audience, grape knee-high was just grape soda.
Yes.
You're not old enough to remember that.
I'm not, no.
All right, what generation are you in?
I'm, Gen X.
Gen X.
Yes.
I'm fascinated by the generation. I actually have a meeting after the show with someone about that issue.
Yeah, the generational differences and kind of how we all bring each other together, it fascinates me. It truly does. We can all learn from one another, for sure.
I'm more interested in why we don't get
See, that's the yin and the yang of our shows. That's going to be great.
The Upswing with Jeff Sherman's coming up next. That's from 10 to 11. Then we got Greg Matzik and Jessica with the Midnight News on WTMJ. Exciting day for all of us. Stay tuned. We're just getting warmed up. I'll be back tomorrow, as I said, with Christian Snyder and Dan Schaefer. News is next.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating.